Well, the other thing that when I was doing research and I didn't realize this, and the more you talk, there's more instances of these things happening than I even knew about. But you had these moments where you would get unbelievably hot at the plate.
Yeah.
I mean, you had 2-3 home run games.
Yeah.
Right? I think the first person in Rays history ever to do that.
Yeah.
And then you had like an 11 home run month.
Yeah.
In the big leagues, which is absolutely insane as well. Like, now this is $1 million question. So if is there, looking back, is there anything that during those times when you get hot or when you get called to the big leagues, all these different moments that you were doing differently than other times of the year, or you were just in the zone and that's just the way sports work?
So this game is so fun when you're hot. This is the coolest freaking game you ever could have. I mean, I don't know what it's like to hit like 8 threes in a row in the NBA, but when you're hot, it's an easier game, right? Like my second game in the big league, right, with all those sliders, right? If I didn't swing at those, I would have baited them back into the fastball, right? So that's like big league stuff. And when you are hot, the opposing coach knows, the catcher knows, and the pitcher knows, which then will have more pressure on them, which means more mistakes. When you're hot, you're literally hitting balls right down the middle, right? You watch some of these guys, watch like home runs, like at the end of the night for like the 3-hole hitter or the Fernando Tatis and all that stuff. Like very rarely will you be like, that ball was on the outer third, nasty, and they hit it out. The ball is right down the middle.
Right.
80% of home runs are balls right down the middle. Yeah. And that's what happens when you're hot, right? Because you're able to lay off the edges and you have to bait them back. And when you're hot, you're hitting in 3-1 counts. You're hitting in 2-0 counts. You're hitting in a homer right down the middle, 0-0. And when you're not hot, it's 0-2. It's 1-2. You never make it to 3 balls. You're always 0-1.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, and as long as the season is, as long as the game is, those little runs, man, are so cool and so fun. But being hot in this game is really hard to get there. Yeah. But when you are, it's an easy game. It really is. I don't want to make it sound like, oh, we're doing all this crazy stuff. You're hitting like 91-mile-an-hour fastballs right down the middle.
Isn't that amazing that, like, it's again, I've never played at the even remotely close to the level you played, but I think every baseball player has experienced those moments of where the ball legitimately feels like a beach ball coming in.
Yeah.
Nothing can fool you, whether it be a slider, laying off the pitcher's pitches.
Yep.
And then on the opposite side, we've also all experienced when, I mean, it looks like a pebble coming in and has no clue what's going on.
Yep.
And it's amazing. It's the same ball. It's the same 60 feet, 6 inches. And that's a real thing.
Yeah.
And
as fun as those like hot streaks are, I mean, I could bring up 2 at bats, one in Cleveland and one in Seattle, like walking to the plate, being like, I hope my family's not watching, because I might embarrass them. Like I don't know what's about to happen, but getting a hit is a non-option right now. And then I got an at bat like in Toronto, Colorado. Places like that where I walked in, I'm just like, how far is this ball going to go?
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, why don't you just bottle that up and do that the whole time?
Right.
Yeah. And, and if you don't hit a homer, it's going to be a walk.
Yeah.
Right. And when you're hot in baseball, you're walking. Yeah. That is the biggest separation.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's such a hard game. It like really is.
Before, I have a video I wanted you to look at, but before you brought up something earlier. Are you like a first pitch, because you're talking about different counts, right? And when we get behind in counts, obviously our batting average drops, and there's a lot of evidence of that. But coaches have different philosophies on whether we should be swinging at the first pitch or not. What is your opinion on swinging at the first pitch in an at bat?
So the first pitch of an at bat,
and let me qualify it. Let's just say at a younger level. Okay, because obviously we're not talking big leaguers right now. So, but let's just say at the high school level, or even at the college or high school level.
So, everyone talks about like guess hitting, right? So it's a guess hitting, right? A guess would be like guessing the pitch or guessing the location. Can you do it? I think everybody can do it, right? You do it every single day in batting practice. You're guessing he's going to throw a fastball, and you're right. So what I did, 0-0, pretty much like any at bat, is I would guess the pitch and I'd guess the location, which is really easy to do. Now, the hard part is not swinging if it's not that pitch or that location, right? So it was a gray area and a grooming area of, I'm going to guess curveball. He throws a curveball, but it bounces on the plate,
not,
right? It's not your location. So guessing the pitch and guessing the location. And I think anyone can do that, right? Like, oh, I'm not a guess hitter. Well, can you be a guess hitter for one count? Right? The 0-0 count, that's it, right? And if you guess wrong, right? If I'm guessing like curveball for a strike and he throws a fastball for a strike, it's okay, right? Your plan just wasn't right there. So if you can, I say the game becomes a little bit easier if you can like have it to where your approach and your plan wasn't right versus your swing. Because if it's, you don't always get out because your swing was wrong, right? So if you, it makes the offers and it makes, you know, the outs easier if you can be like, oh, just my plan wasn't right.
Yeah.
So I would guess pitch and location 0-0.
That's good. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. Let's pull up this video. This is going back to kind of being in the zone. This is something that Kobe Bryant was talking about.
It's a strange feeling because you know you're in the zone, but you can't afford to allow yourself to know you're in the zone, because once you do, then you lose it. You know, because being in that moment, it's all about being in that moment and not letting anything else enter into your mind emotionally or psychologically. And you just continue to go and go and go. And, you know, for me as a player, you know, when I get hot, I mean, I get blistering hot. And you know, that's something that I just had to kind of keep going and not take my mind and focus, let my focus shift to something else.
What do you think of that? As far as like what, like during those hot streaks, is being in the zone. And now I listened to him, obviously he was a basketball player. Plays are happening more quickly, one after another. You know, baseball, we're talking game to game, at bat to at bat. There's time, there's 20 minutes, half an hour literally between these things. Do you agree with what he just talked about, trying to stay in it, not to think about the moment while you're in it?
Yeah, so I think in the baseball side of things, so let's say like early hitting or extra hitting, early ground balls, you know, all this stuff. The guys that opt to do that aren't hot right now, right? They need the extra work. I think you have to work harder to stay in the zone, right? A lot of guys kind of like back off because they're hot. When you feel yourself starting to get hot, like you have to work harder and work more, right? And I always tell people that, like, how'd you know you were in the zone? Because I got out, right? Because I got out of the zone. I went from not getting out to not being able to like hit, and it happens like that. And it's right when you pull your guard down, right? It's that extra hitting, it's that extra rep, it's that, you know, you have a workout day and you're like, oh, I'm not working out today because I'm like freaking 7 for my last 10. I'm freaking nailing it. Maybe show up a little bit late. You know, you're doing a lot of media because you're kind of like hot right now, and you skip out on some of these reps, and then the baseball gods just go zzz, zap you like right away. So it's really hard, and it's a big character check to work harder when you're hot.
If you enjoyed that clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the full podcast, click right here. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you find this content valuable.